Meaning. Any question from yesterday?
So, you said, or Gita said, that when the human dies, he has to go through 8.4 million.
He may take birth as a human again.
Let's say he doesn't, or she doesn't.
Yeah, then he has to go through other species.
So he has to go through all that species.
Yeah. From where he took birth in, he has to elevate again from that species.
From the very beginning.
Not beginning. If he took birth as a fish or tortoise, then he has to take that, all the species, and the next one, and from there back to the
So, say last birth I was a fish. So if I die, I start from fish again.
Yeah.
That's what
yes.
So now the other question is this: that soul, Atma, it goes out of body.
Yeah.
But then Sukshma body, a subtle body, right? It has what? A man, buddhi, ahankar, correct? So when the person or the jeev goes to the fish, where that goes?
Everything goes. Everything. The whole subtle body goes.
But subtle body is not with that fish, is it?
Every animal has a subtle body. Every species has a subtle body.
So that jeev subtle body becomes the fish subtle body.
Subtle body enters, and it will take a physical body according to his desire. So the whole thing will enter. We are discussing this today. Reincarnation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvi Shesha Shrimani Paschatari Sharavini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasani Gauravani Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare. Today the session is karma and reincarnation. Now look at this picture. Who can say what's going on? Yeah. What's happening in this picture? Can you say it? Who's killing? The human. But look at his face.
Doesn't look like him.
So, and look at what he's killing. Is that animal?
Looks like human.
It's like a human. Actually, what's happening here?
Animal is killing human.
But animal doesn't have 2 legs. Okay. This is a picture on the cover of one of Srila Prabhupada's books. There's some history here. Okay. The man killed a cow. Now, the next birth, the cow had taken now birth as a man, and that man had evolved to a cow species, and so he's killing him now. This is what it's depicting. It's depicting karma. So, karma and reincarnation, rebirth according to karma. This is the topic today, based on teachings of Srila Prabhupada, Murari, ISKCON. Today we're going to look at the concept of karma. We think we know what it is, we have some idea, but it's not so direct, it's complex. Types of karma. Reincarnation, is it good to reincarnate, and stopping the cycle of birth and death. Okay, start. Now we're going to, when we discuss the concept of karma, let's look at this one first. We're going to see 2 things here. One is the general understanding. People have some general idea what is karma. There's some new word now floating around, instant karma. That's not a very concept. Okay, second, karma. Definition in Bhagavad Gita. There's a definition. Okay, so what do people think about karma? Generally, anything bad happens to you, that's your karma. Something bad happening, karma. And people think karma can act immediately. Immediately something is happening, someone is suffering. What happened? Karma. Some people say, we don't believe in karma. We don't accept karma. It's not our faith. It's not our belief. But actually, religion doesn't depend on belief. Religion is based on laws of God, which will act, whether you believe or not. I don't believe fire will burn you. So it won't burn, it will burn. So religion is not based on belief, it's based on scientific fact. Now in the modern religious systems now, it's so much on belief. We believe this, we don't believe that, we don't believe in reincarnation. It's not about belief. It's about what is the actual thing, what's going on. So, another thing people think about karma is that karma, bad things, should only happen to bad people. He's a good person, why is he suffering? What did he do wrong? Is there a God? That's the idea sometimes people have. Okay, that's what people think. So now, actually, what is karma? That's what people think. But what is karma? Result of actions, good or bad. Karma can be good or bad. Not necessarily bad. And karma is from a past life. It's not from this life. Something happened, something I do wrong now, and then after 10 years something bad happens to me. This is your karma, because you did. No, karma is from a past life. There's a reason for that. I will come to that. Why? This life will not be disturbed. Well, I can say no. That this is what I desired in my past and what are the reactions were all calculated, and it's going on now in this life. So it won't be disturbed. Something I did now I get a reaction. It's everything was planned. I have to go through certain experiences, which easily we can know what they are, because traditionally in Vedic culture, when a child is born, they'll just take his birth chart and they'll know everything about him. And mostly what they'll do is they'll name him according to the chart. If they know this person is going to be very bright, then they'll give a name like that. Similar name in Sanskrit. Or if the person is going to be very argumentative, it shows in the chart. They give a name like that also. So we have to go through our whole experience in this life. So karma cannot act now. That will act next life. Okay, so it's from a past life. Also, this doesn't depend on belief. I believe in karma, I don't believe in karma. It is a law of nature. It will act. We simply have to know about it. Bad things can happen to good people. You think bad karma, people are suffering. Why are these good people suffering? He didn't do anything wrong. No, but that was this life. What about the past life? Karma is acting from a past. You may be very good now, or someone is good, but he's suffering because of that's the past. Actions performed in this material world for our benefit and our pleasure. Karma simply means, in Sanskrit, action. Karma means action. Any action I do, that is karma, for my benefit, not for God. Building a house, working, giving charity, this is all karma. Definition of karma in Bhagavad Gita. So, Arjuna asks in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, King Karma, in the beginning, I think text 2. Arjuna asks Krishna, King Karma, what is karma? What is action? Krishna replied in very technical, deep answer. Uta bhavod bhavo karo visarga karma samgita. Action pertaining to development of the material body of the living entity is called karma. Karma is an action which will lead to rebirth, simply put. By this action of karma, it will lead me to take birth again. Why? Because karma is for my benefit, which is reinforcing the desire of the jiva that yes, I want to continue acting for myself and serving myself. So it binds us to take birth again. Okay, this is, I hope you understand, because now we build on this. Okay, definition of karma. If we look at this definition, what we get from it, karma leads to rebirth. And rebirth means birth again, death, disease, old age. Karma or actions we do for our sense gratification cause our future material body to be developed by recording actions in the subtle body. Every action I do is recorded. And at the time of death, all the actions are taken into account and the desires. And by then, the subtle body already took a certain shape and simply has to fit the gross body shape. Is it a lizard? Is it a human? What is it? That depends on our actions. Okay, concept of karma. Good karma gives a good body, bad karma gives a bad body. But both gives a body. So the question is it better to do good karma or bad karma? Who can say? I hope it's not a complicated question. Yes? Okay.
Good karma or bad karma, exactly the same thing. Because it will put you in the cycle of rebirth.
Again?
But I can counteract that.
What's that? Yes.
With good karma, at least you'll have better facilities, and in that way, it will help you maybe take your spirituality more seriously. Like right now here, like I have a car. I don't have a car. My father has a car, but I'm in a family that, well, I don't need to worry about poverty.
Yeah, correct. Okay. You are born into a situation where we don't have to struggle, so we can put our mind on working. Okay, there's a point I'm coming to here. Why I'm saying is it better to do good karma or bad karma? So we are thinking along those lines. But now, let's look at result of good karma. Rebirth, good life. Result of bad karma, rebirth, bad life. Both make you take birth again with the material body. Of course, good karma is better. Now, but we are coming to a transcendental level. So for that, both of them lead to rebirth. And if we take rebirth, then again we suffer from material body. So mundane goodness, which is emphasized in some religious practices and in some NGOs, I don't know what you call it, actually it's not the highest thing. Mundane good that we do, actually, let's see, what is the effect? Some of you know this, what I'm saying, but I have to go at this speed. Okay. So rebirth means again disease, old age, hot, cold, thirst, hunger, suffering. Okay, so should we do only good karma? Some may say, okay, now, if good karma leads to suffering, bad karma leads to suffering, better don't do any karma, just sit at home. Or sit in the Himalayas. Just sit there, don't do anything, because whatever I do, I'll take birth again, don't do anything. Okay, but Bhagavad Gita said this is not possible. For the Jeev, everyone is forced to act. You cannot say, I won't act. According to the qualities, the modes of nature, we are driven to act. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something. This verse came because Arjuna didn't want to fight the battle. But then, Krishna is telling him, you have a nature, you'll be forced to act. Don't think I'll not act, I'll just sit. Without doing anything. I don't want to take part in the war, it will lead to some bad result. So I'll not do anything. But Krishna said, it's not no one can do that. We have to act this way or that way. Okay, so the question is not, shall I act or not? The question is how to act. You see, simple thing. This is chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita. Simple karma, but it's brought about some deep considerations. Okay? And this is chapter 3, supposed to be a basic knowledge. Now I want to just digress and understand that we have to understand the importance of Gita, how to live. Okay, see, we have to understand how to act and live in this life. We don't just go through this life, just eating, sleeping, waking, working, like that. But we have to consider what we're doing, what is the result of our actions. It's very subtle. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita teaches the real way how we can live. We have to know goal of life, how to attain it, how to stop suffering. Okay, Bhagavad Gita teaches this. Now, case in point here is how to live and act to not get another body. Practically, many people are acting in such a way, there will be another body. Okay, but importance of knowing Gita. Question of good or bad karma, or none of them. So, now this comes to the next topic. Types of karma. Some of you know this, if you know you can say. How many types of karma are there? Anyone else? 2, 4. Okay. Yeah. Okay. What do you do? 3. Okay. Okay, there are 3 types of karma. I think some of this you know. This is given in Bhagavad Gita, okay, where Krishna says, first of all, a lot of the times when you're translating a Sanskrit verse, the lowest comes first, it's opposite. So here last line, Grahana Karmanagati. Intricacies of action are hard to understand. Sometimes it's complex to understand karma. Okay? Therefore, one should know properly what is action, what is forbidden action, what is inaction. In other words, these words in English. I underline the verses here. Karma, vikarma or karma. Karmana here, bodhavyam cha vikarmana akarmanasya bodhavyam. We should understand what is good, what is bad, and what is inaction. Okay, good and bad you're familiar with. But now when we talk about inaction, this is already crossed whatever we know today's modern mundane religious principles. There is no concept of akarma. Because many people understand that to do good means do good actions. But the highest principle is not doing good, it's doing action for God. Sometimes that may run in conflict with mundane goodness that I explained. So the types of karma. Okay, here we can see on the right side, karma, akarma, vikarma. There are 3 types of karma. So here, karma actions according to the Vedas for ultimate sense enjoyment. So I'll give an example. Working, giving charity, like building a house, driving a car, any action I do, I'm doing action now, that is karma. If it's for my enjoyment, that is called karma. Any action, I get up and switch on the light, any action. Karma means action in Sanskrit. But what is that action motivated by? If it's motivated by something for me, my benefit, that is karma. Vikarma, and if it's according to the Veda, Vikarma means action I'm doing, getting up, doing an action which is not according to the Vedas. Criminal activity, cheating, stealing, lying, this is called Vikarma. I am doing an action which will give a reaction, but a bad reaction. This is called Vikarma. Akarma. Action according to the Vedas for Krishna's enjoyment. No rebirth, no result. That is spiritual activity. In other words, bhakti. Okay. So, I'm going to say an action. You say, what is it? If we are feeding poor people, what is that? Okay. If I am offering food to Krishna, karma and vikarma. Supposing stealing, vikarma. What? Stealing for Krishna. People did that. Tirumangai Alvar, have you heard of it? In South India, he was incarnation of one of Vishnu's Anush. Tirumangai Alvar in Tamil Nadu. He was incarnation of Vishnu's, I think, Shank. So he appeared, and in the course of his transcendental life, he would steal from rich people and build temples. Yeah, we don't recommend, because if you're 100% pure, then you will not get a reaction. But if you even have 1% self-interest, then that's dangerous. You will incur that sin. Okay, so now here again we are seeing a concept of akarma. You see, which is better, good karma or bad karma? Answer is no, akarma is better. We have to learn to live in such a way that we don't incur other karma. So, according to Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, whatever you do it for me. Which verse is that? From the chapter? There's 9, chapter 9, 9:27. Krishna says, Yad karoshi yadashnasi, Yad johosmi tadasya, Tad kurushna mararpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you want to give away, you give it to me, Krishna says. What is the result? You think Krishna needs our money? No, it doesn't. But he understands that when we give it something to him, we purify our wealth. Whatever we have, we purify. The tradition was in the village, the farmer will do his farming, he'll get the harvest, and one portion he'll give to the temple. The potterer, he'll give some to Krishna. All the people will give some portion and purify their wealth. Otherwise, how we got our wealth, definitely there'll be some reactions. But when it's a part of it is given to Krishna, then it purifies. So this is akarma. It's a higher concept. You will not read about this in other religious systems. They emphasize good karma. But one has to be prepared for this because it's a little difficult for people to understand. Therefore, in that verse I showed earlier, Krishna says, Gahana karma no gati. It's difficult to understand. Because some people sometimes do mundane religious work and say this is good. But it's good, but it's not. What is pleasing to Krishna? In Bhagavad Gita, he says what to do. Pleasing to Krishna is we endeavor for spreading Krishna's teachings and God consciousness. I'll give you an example. Traditionally, charity before, in Vedic culture, it was never given to poor people. It was given to religious organizations. Okay, the ruler was in charge of taking care of poor people. They had to. Everyone had to eat. That was the role of the state. But for people who give charity to temple, then they get the benefit spiritually. If anyone has a doubt or not following or not, you can ask me. Our karma. Yeah. Yeah.
When I was doing puja, I was hearing also.
Yeah.
In the beginning, Shailesh Prabhu was asking question that not actually asking question when you showed the laws of nature cover.
Yeah.
You said that
It's a first slide.
you will take a birth of a cow and get killed.
Yes.
But then taking birth of a cow and getting killed, which means according to your yesterday's thing, you are in mode of goodness and you'll be born again as a human being. So how do I see it in proper light? Getting cow's body is not so easy. We have also heard that. So how do I see it in proper light?
First of all, it's not a must that this happened just the past life. We not only this life, previous life, we did so many things. So the stage has to be set. When you somehow fall to that position and that person came to that position, then the karma will be paid. It's not that now it's next life, it has to happen the next life. You kill the cow, now cow has to take a human, and you have to go, and it won't be like that. But the stage will be set, everything will be set up for that to happen. I gave the example of Dhritarashtra and his 101 sons. Remember that example? Were you here? Some of you? I repeat it. Yeah. Dhritarashtra asked Krishna, actually maybe it was in Nairobi, I'm confused, I did this 3-4 times. That Dhritarashtra asked, he could remember his past lives, up to 50. In Mahabharata it says. So he asked Krishna that, why is it that I suffered like this? My 100 sons were killed, 101, and I was born blind. How did this happen? Why did it happen? He could not remember in the 50 lives. Krishna said he couldn't remember 50 lives. Could you remember the 51st? He could not. Then Krishna said, you were a hunter. You shot an arrow, which was on fire, into a nest, which burnt 100 baby birds. In Dwapar, Treta Yuga, it was different. Many children. So those birds all got burnt, 100 of them, and the father's eyes got burnt, shut, couldn't see. So then he said, okay, I did that 51 lives ago, why am I suffering now? After then, Krishna said, it took you 50 lives to get the Sukriti to have 100 sons. And to get in a position where the karma could be paid. It's not a must, it will happen immediately. So we don't know what will happen next second, we don't understand. Or next birth, it's not necessarily a result of this birth. It could be something that had to be paid 30 births ago. I don't know if you answer your question. You can hear it. What I missed.
No, I'm satisfied.
Okay. Because your point was that next life, to take a cow birth means you have become sattvic, but maybe he took the birth, then it went on, then he degraded, and later then that reaction came. It's not that immediately next year.
So that cow and that human has to come back again, or can be that human who killed the cow will be killed by that human that killed the cow, right? Now that human becomes some sort of animal, can kill by any other jiv, or it has to be that particular opposite each other.
As far as I know, he kill you, you will kill like that. It's like that. He'll pay back. Once Prabhupada commented, I actually saw this quote. He was commenting about KFC. You know that person who founded it, his name is Colonel Sanders. So Prabhupada said he'll have to take birth as a chicken and be fried and cut as many times as he put all these chickens. Yeah.
Demons like Ravana or Kansa, they face the reaction of the same light or the previous light?
That is a little deeper thing. You see, if we look at Bhagavatam, Ravan, Kumbhakarna, Hiranyakashipu, they were Jai Vijay, who took birth 3 times just for Krishna to live. But generally speaking, let's say that was not the case. It's not the same life. It had to be the future life where they'll be suffering the reaction. Future? Yeah, good observation. It's true. In this material world, there's a verse in Gita that says that in this material world, as fire is covered by smoke, every endeavor is covered by some imperfection. We cannot avoid sin. Okay? Therefore, what do? We dedicate our life to serving God. If you do that, That means your walking, your breathing, your whatever is not for you. It's in your service of Krishna. So you don't get that result. Only a devotee can be free from sins. Do you understand the concept? If
What point do you know, or do you,
when do you know that you're free from sin?
when do you know, no, not free from sin, but there should be a point when you know that you're moving in the right direction, or you're,
Yeah, there's actually in 11th canto Bhagavatam. There it says that how do we know we're advancing? In the same way that when you're hungry and you're eating food, three things happen at once. Pushti, Pushti, Kshudapaya, Nughasam, Vayu. We get energy, satisfaction, and hunger goes all at once by eating. And we don't have to ask someone, have I eaten enough? Should I eat more? We'll know it. So similarly, when we advance in bhakti, we'll understand that, we'll understand that we are perceiving God. It's a different consciousness. That will come. Yeah.
You give that JVJ example, so I thought of one, like, you said, okay, initially like good karma might be better than bad, and this is a karma group. But then in this case, JVJ, they had the option of choosing 3 lives as Krishna's enemies, and then 7 lives, I think it's his friend. They chose bad karma, so.
No, this has nothing to do with karma. In this whole episode, because it's for Krishna. This is complex. You see, there it says in Gita, Gahana karma no gati. Sometimes it's complex.
When you conserve Ravana, you are delivered because you are killed by Krishna himself.
That's true. Krishna kills someone. That is
So
they deliver.
the karma, reaction of that life karma, they are not passionate, they are delivered already.
Yeah, that's true. Generally, Krishna kills a demon, and therefore he's glorified as Krishna. To the demons, you're given liberation. So what about devotees? Now, what? Great. Okay, we're looking at akarma. Okay, analysis. Known as bhakti. Example, japa. Reading Bhagavad Gita. Akarma is action for pleasure of Krishna, eating, living, working according to how a devotee of Krishna does. We base our life on what Krishna wants. What should I eat? What does Krishna want me to? How should I live my life? What does Krishna want? How Krishna wants, we live it like that. That is our karma. We don't incur reaction. This is given in Bhagavad Gita in the verse coming after this. Our karma destroys good and bad karma. This is another thing. If we act for Krishna, we take food Krishna has offered, so we offer the food and eat. What happens? We destroy a lot of our good and bad karmas that are supposed to accrue. And so we destroy our possible future birth, which is good. We remove the karma by doing our karma. Not only we don't bind ourselves more, but we remove the past. Okay, there's exactly a verse. Buddhi yoga jahatiya ube sukrita dishkuto. Buddhi yoga and bhakti, it destroys both good and bad karma. This is in chapter 2.
Question.
Yes.
How do you know like how much karmas have you taken out and how much are you left with? Is it possible to know that?
If we are attracted to Krishna more, then we can understand that is less karma as a rule. And if you're saying why we are practicing bhakti, how do we know? I don't know. I cannot answer that question. As far as I know, when one is feeling more attracted to Krishna and Gita and all this topic, it's a good thing. That means because it says in Shastra that one who chants the name of Krishna is supposed to be a very pious person. He destroyed volumes of sinful reactions. Anybody who is in contact with Bhakti, Krishna in any way, this is a very powerful purifying force. And when we're talking about karma and bad karma. For devotee, this is not a concern, strictly speaking. We're discussing philosophy. But when we doing bhakti, this is not a concern. Happiness is not a concern. Liberation, destruction of karma, these are all side benefits of bhakti. automatically Krishna says in the Gita that if you approach me, I destroy your actions, I destroy your actions. If you chant my name once, there's a verse saying, if we chant Krishna's name once, it destroys more sin than we can do in one life. So, but of course, we live many lives with sins. So, how to know? Generally speaking, more attracted we are to Bhakti and Krishna, we can understand. And Kirtan, the whole Bhakti activities, then we can understand.
You said a karma destroys both good and bad
Yeah,
karma.
yeah.
Like simultaneously.
Yes.
You don't get a preference, like burn all the bad person and the good. Because ideally, like it may help, obviously the aim is like to get one of all, but just in case you mess up, it's good to have good, right, rather than bad.
No, anyway, if you mess up, the Bhagavad Gita says in chapter 6 at the end that if you don't complete your bhakti, Shrimatam Suchinam Gehe Yoga Vaishnava Jayate, we take birth in either rich family or pious family to finish our bhakti. That's taken care of. And if we are very, very religious, then Athava Yoganamaya Kule Bhavati Dhimasam. We take birth in a family of transcendentalists, where the mother and father are already transcendental after practicing bhakti so much. Then the child taking birth is already transcendental and he's got a little left on. So Krishna arranges if we don't finish the process. That's a concern with many people, that if I take bhakti, what about my good karma and all this? But Krishna takes care. Yeah, Krishna.
So if in this life we are doing bhakti, we are chanting, or we are doing any service to Krishna, that means in the past life we did something and we died by doing something, and then this life we carry forward.
Yes, 99.9%. Anyone doing bhakti, it's from a past life continuing. A past could be very past or just past. That's true. But 0.001%, there's another consideration. Once Srila Prabhupada, the disciples told him in America, that Prabhupada, that we all did our good actions, that's why we are here. Prabhupada said, no, I give you the Sukriti. Then there's a verse actually in the first canto of Bhagavatam, which is paraphrased in one of the Vaishnava bhajans. Darshana Pavitra Ek Tumar Karo E Tumar Gun. Just by a pure devotee who is a pure devotee, just by looking at him, one gets the seed of bhakti that he'll begin in this life or next life and get attraction to Krishna. Just by seeing him. So it's true 99% that anyone doing bhakti is from a past life. But a very small percentage that he got the kripa of the Vaishnava. That's all. I can't. But somebody born in Vrindavan, in Mayapur, or born in a family where already Radha Krishna is there, or name of Krishna, then definitely there is some past benefit. Okay, so our karma is powerful that over a long time, if we continue performing our karma, we destroy all the past sinful reactions, then we don't take birth again. So I was saying that we have to live this life. Real art of living, art of how to live, is acting for Krishna. Okay, acting for Krishna gives liberation. This is a verse. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, Krishna is telling Arjuna, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duty for his satisfaction. In that way, you'll always remain free from bondage. So, as I said, every single action is recorded. Every action I do an action now. I get up and go to put on the TV. Okay, so it's recorded. What did I do that for? Krishna or for me? If it's for me, then it's speaking about bondage. Okay, so bondage happens. Bondage is like you have a rope, okay? Like here. This is something, and I'm tying a rope here. Okay, then I do another action for my pleasure. Another rope is tied. Bondage, karma bandhana. Then I do another action, and like this, if we keep doing sense gratification, then we get bound so much to this body and to matter that our spiritual nature goes gradually, consciousness comes down. We become more and more affected by Maya. In other words, we become tamasic. or animalistic. This is result of action which is not for Krishna. Lokoyam karma bandhana, work causes bondage if it's not for Vishnu. Same way, if I do a karma, I'm opening up the knot, opening up. My soul is getting detached from matter. So every action binds and binds and binds and binds. And the more we do sense gratification, then if a life full of sense gratification means the next life will be lower than what it is now. And a life of devotion means it will be a higher life. This is the principle. This is the verse saying that. Okay, so karma and reincarnation. The topic of karma, if we're going to conclude, we should know about what is karma and how it affects us. Okay, you hear karma, but actually what karma people mean nowadays is karma phal. This is your karma. No, it's your phal, fruit of your action. Karma means action. So we should know what is action and how to act in this world. Okay? This is a picture that comes frequently in our ISKCON books. These people are all behaving differently and they take a resultant next birth according to their actions. You see, it's taking birth as animal, or giving charity, going to the heavenly planets, or doing bhakti right on top and entering into Krishna's Leela. So we have to know our actions. We have to know what is karma and how it impacts us. Knowledge of karma leads to liberation. Now this is chapter 3, basic knowledge, but not so basic. Bhagavad Gita goes higher. But simply knowing what is karma, that knowledge will liberate you. Like now we're speaking about karma and you're getting better idea. So this verse says here that even intelligent are bewildered in determining what is karma, action, what is inaction, akarma. Now I shall explain to you what is action, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. Krishna tells Arjuna, I am explaining you about karma because by knowing it, you will be liberated from suffering. Suffering in this material world is due to karma which we perform and the reactions that are coming. So, Krishna is giving knowledge how to become free from suffering. This is conclusion of karma topic. Okay, any question? Now to reincarnation. Reincarnation, we look at 4 topics here. Okay, reincarnation. Journey of the soul, meaning of reincarnation. Okay, now let's look at this picture. This is another famous BBT picture. This is showing different species of animals, families. And there's a white dot. What is that white dot? Soul. And look at how the soul, journey of the soul, we have journeyed all over this universe in different species. We have lived it. Everything that we're doing now, we've done it so many times. This is the journey of the soul. Okay, the Vedas give a deep understanding of life, soul. It tells us that we have lived many times and done actions. And in different ways, in different bodies. Nothing is new. Okay, this is not our first birth. We've had many families in the past. According to our karma, we take birth again in some planet, country, culture, religion. And all of us are taking birth in different places, circumstances. Since we forget everything in our next birth, we can't remember. You know, if I talk about past life, no one remembers past life. Now I'm speaking about it, but otherwise no one had that idea I did before. Yeah. But can we say that because I cannot remember it didn't happen? Some people say that. I can't remember my past life. So a very simple way, this is Prabhupada in a lecture, he explains this point. That at some point all of us learn to walk, isn't it? Whatever age, 3, 4, age 2. So when we started walking, do you remember who was there? What happened? Where were we? What they said? Do you remember anything? No, we don't remember. So it didn't happen. We don't remember. We don't remember is not an excuse that it didn't happen. So now we cannot remember past lives. It means it didn't happen. No. Many things we can't remember. We can't remember at the moment we were born, who was there, what did the doctor say, what was the color of the hospital curtain. We can't remember anything. So we had these past births. But as we mentioned yesterday, originally we are from Vaikuntha, but we fell down here. Okay, we cannot find the beginning of this journey of the soul. It began a long time ago. We are all moving species again and again and again, taking birth. Okay, this has to be stopped. This is intelligence. Intelligence is finding out how I am going through this cycle of birth and death and coming out. It doesn't make sense to come again and again and again and do the same thing. We can say, okay, the dog doesn't know, he cannot understand. But humans have a brain to understand Vedas and to understand philosophy. Okay, let's go into this reincarnation. Okay, meaning of reincarnation. So now we'll think that this reincarnation is a Hindu or Buddhist concept. But a lot of English comes from Latin. And many times in dictionary, if you look up a word, they look at the origin of the word in Latin and then read a deeper meaning of the meaning of that word. So this word, reincarnation, actually is a Latin word. What is re? Again, redo, recall, revolve. Re means again. In means inside. Okay? What is the meaning of karna? Carnivore. Carnivore means meat eater. Karna means carnivore means meat, flesh. So reincarna means again enter the flesh. This is a Latin word. The concept of reincarnation is not new. It was there in the West. It was in Roman culture. I read in one Jehovah's Witness book that they were criticizing Catholics that they believed it till 11th century. I'm looking for that evidence, but I saw that in one of the magazines. The point is this is a concept that has always been used. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Bhagavan. Reincarnation is not something new. It was accepted, it was properly studied. Okay? Now they're different.
Why it's carnivorous, why not herbivorous?
No, see here, the word karna means flesh. So I said word carnivore to tell you that word karna means flesh. Carnivore means flesh eater. So here, again enter the flesh means soul again enters. You're saying why it doesn't say enter plant?
Or herbivorous, any herbivorous.
No, it doesn't depend on meat eater or it's just saying soul is again entering flesh, entering the body. It's entering another body. That's all. Soul is again entering a body. And sometimes flesh can mean, sometimes we say mango, we say pulp, but maybe meat eaters. They'll refer to that pulp of the mango as flesh. Even the tree, the bark, that's flesh. Basically, the body, enter another body. Could be plant, could be anything. Okay, other names for reincarnation, very often occurring in Shastra. Bhava Sagar. Bhava means birth. Sagar means ocean. Why? Because this is something like an ocean. Okay, analogy is given. If you had to cross an ocean, it's very difficult. You cannot cross so easily. Even if you have a good boat, like a Titanic, doesn't mean you can cross the ocean. It's always danger. The river, the ocean's waves, weather, it's a danger. So, how will we cross the ocean of birth and death? Almost impossible, very difficult. Therefore, it's called an ocean. Okay? Samsara, which is another word. Samsara. Cycle of birth and death. And every morning we sing. Samsara Dhavananda. The forest fire of repeated birth and death. And then in that explanation, Prabhupada gives that. Why is it called a forest fire? Because if you've ever been in a forest fire, then if you were, you would not be here. But if you were in a forest fire, you cannot get out. And you don't know which way to go. There are fires all around. And still you're being burned. You cannot run and you'll slowly be burned. All animals die. So that's where we are now. This is a forest fire, this material life. We are suffering, we are burning, but we cannot run. Where do we go? And how do we get saved from this? So that is meaning of the cycle of birth and death. Okay, so meaning of reincarnation, practically, in case you don't know, it means we, the soul, takes birth again according to our desires and activities. That is reincarnation. At the time of death, the next body is ready. When someone is dying, you can understand the body is ready. The next one. Yes.
So, if the souls enter another body, what about the ghost? And
Yeah, ghost is entity only with the sukshma shari, no gross body. There are species of ghosts like humans. They come in the 4 lakh species. If you read Garuda Puran, they explain so many type of ghosts. Preta, Pishach,
so, in other words, that Jeev, other body is not ready yet.
no. Body is there. It's a type of life. It's one of the entities living in this world. Ghosts are entities. They are raised just like you have gir cow, concourage, different types of cows. So you have ghosts. You have something called Vedic, Preta, Pishach. There's so many whole races of ghosts. It's a kind of birth. Yeah.
We have this.
Yeah, they're like us. This is our body, that's their body. They don't have a gross body. Ghost is a punishment. If someone commits suicide, they'll take birth as a ghost and suffer. Because they misuse their human form. So they'll not be given another gross body with which to enjoy and live in this world. But also, very sinful people, they take a ghost body. And there are other circumstances which we don't know. But I know that it's one of the lines. In Garuda Puran it's given.
In the beginning, you spoke about the subtle body having the shape of, for example, maybe a animal or a demigod before dying. And then when you die, the subtle body takes in the next life, the person becomes it. You elaborate more on that?
Every action we do changes our subtle body. Every single action. And so, at the time of death, we already have taken that kind of consciousness, and the subtle body is that shape. Because it says in Bhagavad Gita that the subtle body carries the thoughts and desires of the person to the next body, according to this mentality. But and what Prabhupada explained is that why does my physical body have this shape? Then he explained, why is the sweat at this shape? Because the body has to fit it. So why is the gross body like that? Because the subtle body is that shape and it's fitting. So at death, whatever the shape is already there and it's taking that kind of gross body to fit it. Yeah. So all our actions will give that. Yeah. So at death, yeah. Yes, yeah.
So at the time of death, whatever consciousness is, we take birth according to that,
Yeah.
according to our consciousness,
Yes,
or depending on our karma which we did in that life.
two things. Ichha and karma. Desire. Okay. To explain this, I'll tell a story which I heard from Prabhupada's disciple. He said he was a farmer in India who thought, I want to farm in America. I want to go farming in America. He desired it. He was thinking about it. He said, I make a lot of money. I'll get good land. He kept meditating. Then he's trying to prepare for it. Then he went to an astrologer and he asked, because in India they can tell these things in Vedic astrology. What will my next life be? I want to go to American farm. He said, he looked at the hand. Yes, you'll be in America in the next life. Okay. You will be born in a very rich farmer's family. Okay, very nice. They'll carry you around everywhere. You'll be confused. Why? They'll carry you around, they'll dress you, you'll be going everywhere in the vehicle. In fact, you'll be born as a dog in the next family, in the next life, in American farmer's family. So now two things are here. His desire to be born, that was fulfilled. But due to his actions, he would not get a human birth. Ichha and karma. You will be reborn, but maybe I'm attached to some car or something. I'm reborn, but I didn't have a human birth. Then, as Prabhupada says, I'm reborn as a cockroach in the car. Says like, okay, so at the time of death, next body is ready.
Probably a question.
Yes.
What's the difference between a ghost body and a demigod body?
Ghost does not have a gross body. A ghost. And they both have two hands, two legs. Demigod is a higher birth. It's swargic, it's a reward, it's a karmic reward, kind of. Reward for good karma. But a ghost is a suffering, it's like a punishment, it's a lower. But they are higher than humans in terms of powers. In fact, they have planets or higher planets where ghosts live, and at Sandhya time they descend to this planet. At the time of Sandhya. Therefore, at that time one is enjoying to do some spiritual activities. Some people chant Sandhya Vanda now, they do some kirtan.
You said it's a punishment, right? So, again, in that life, they burn off their karma or they probably still?
No, they burn off. But it's a fact that if a ghost hears Hare Krishna chanted by pure devotee, they come out of the ghost life and get a gross body.
Only pure devotee.
Only pure. They will get some benefit if any chanting, but pure devotee, then they get the benefit. Okay, so now, process of reincarnation. We have a gross and subtle body. At death, the gross body stops functioning. Subtle body carries the soul to the new gross body being developed. Okay, this is the process. The process is right now I have intelligence, I can act, I have a gross body. At death, intelligence shuts off. I can't think anymore. Then what's in my mind? And you can't cheat them. Now I remember Krishna quickly. I enjoy it. Now I remember Krishna. Intelligence shuts off. Only the mind is active. Then what's in your mind? This is the question. Because that's what we have to change our whole life. Change better, change your mind. Otherwise, it will carry you somewhere. Okay, so the subtle body gross body stops functioning. Subtle body carries soul to another gross body being developed. Yeah.
Why is the mind not the actual?
At death.
Yeah, like why not?
The point is that at death, you see, up till death, you're given a chance to influence. But when death comes, then you don't have to follow what is going on. Then you cannot do anything about it. Then the nature has to take its course.
So when you say mind in Sanskrit or Hindi, is it buddhi?
No, mana. Buddhi is mind, is intelligence. Mana. Okay.
There is no actual word for man in English, is it? Because mind is, we see this is mind. I mean, buddhi is mind.
No. It is there. If you read Bhagavad Gita, it says buddhi is intelligence, mana is mind, indriya is senses. Actually, that is there. The word psychology means study of mind. Psyche means mind. The next body depends on Ichha, desires, and karma, activities of the past life. When the subtle body, mind, intelligence, travels to the new body, all the thoughts, memories, and desires of the soul go. Everything goes. All our memories, past lives, 1 billion trillion lives, memories, and records also go in the subtle body. There may be a period of suffering or enjoyment in heavenly planets or hellish planet, but then we return to earthly planet. If we are very sinful, then we are taken for reformation in another planet. Prabhupada said it's close to this. The hellish planets. Or the heavenly planets. But then we'll come back here. Bhagavad Gita, Shine Punya Mantya Lokam Vishanti. When we finish our good credits or bad, then we'll come back to earthly planet and get another chance. As long as there are desires in our mind to enjoy this body or this material world, we'll keep taking birth and taking a new material body. Now here I have to add one thing. Someone may think, wow, then how are we going to get liberated? We have to overcome all these desires. But Prabhupada said, out of every 2,000 Kali Yugas, like now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at this age of Kali, we took birth. It means we are very disadvantaged. We are in a very bad situation. We have very bad karma, and the situation is bad. We cannot do bhakti. It's very hard. But in this age, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come. So there's a very big concession, just like in a shop which is not expensive things. It's expensive. But you have a 80% discount. Easily you can acquire the item. So now bhakti can very easily be attained through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why? Because he doesn't see the desire. We may not get 100% perfection. We may get 60, 70%. But he will just liberate and help us and take us. So, this is a fact.
Is there any sufferings in heaven and earth?
Very little. It said there that old age, it happens just before death for a few minutes. So,
but that's also a disadvantage because if there's no suffering, then there's no incentive
for
to
bhakti.
out.
Yeah. But you cannot do bhakti in heavenly planets. It's too enjoyable.
So, when we jump Hare Krishna,
Yeah.
now that is we are saying from the mouth, but the man or the mind is nowhere near Krishna, is everywhere, thinking of good, bad, and ugly. Right? When we even close your eyes and I'm talking about myself here. Close my eyes and do whatever I do, like Hare Krishna, for example. But that man is not still on Krishna. Is there any beneficial? Or is like you do 10,000 times and it kind of, one small part of it.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Bahu janam yadi kare shravana kirtan, prabhutana pai Krishna premadhan. That means we can chant Hare Krishna many, many births, but we will not get Krishna if we don't chant properly. We have to chant attentively, not following the Nama, and following Namaprad, avoiding the Namaprad. 10 offenses to holy name. We have to chant purely to get the benefit. And how to do that? Keep chanting and practice. Practice listening. Japa is a function of two things: mind, ear, and lip. Prabhupada said. Someone said that Prabhupada, my mind. He said, mind has nothing to do with it. Chant and listen. Chant and listen. Mind is not involved. We have to hear what we're chanting.
Still, you get some benefit, no? If you unconsciously chant.
Yeah, what happens if you chant continuously, then you can reach pure chanting. What is the route to pure chanting? Chanting. There is no other way. Keep chanting. And then gradually you chant purely. Yeah, that's it. So what does this tell us? Today's actions and thoughts determine the next birth. So what are we doing? What are we thinking? That we have to see. Okay. In Bhagavad Gita we have a lot of verses speaking about reincarnation. Let's look at them. One who has taken his birth is sure to die. After death, one is sure to be born again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Actually, for a devotee, death is not a problem. Death is not the issue. The issue is bhakti and remembering Krishna. Death will come. That's not the issue. But the issue is our consciousness falling down such that next life we take animal birth or we take birth away from our Krishna and devotees. That is the most scary thing for devotee. Death is you die, then again you're born at that level. Okay, verses in Gita about reincarnation. Krishna says, from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. So that's, even if you go to heaven, you take birth again. Better get out of this material world. This is explaining now how the subtle body takes the whole soul, mind, intelligence to another gross body. The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another as air carries aromas. Thus he takes one kind of body, again quits it to take another. And then when he takes the other body, he's given a particular kind of senses. Living entity thus takes another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular sense of sense objects. When we say different bodies, actually what is different? The senses. The sense of touch, sight, hearing, smell are different in different species. And so why are they different? Because the jiva wanted those senses in that way in the past life. So he's given the suitable body by which those senses he desired are grouped in that way. You see? Question. What kind of body will we get in our next life? We don't know. Depends on our actions. Depends on our thoughts, desires, and actions. Is it good to reincarnate? Some people say, oh, my grandmother died, and that simultaneously this child was born. This is incarnation of my, so happy. But actually, it's not a good thing to come back. Why you want to come back? To birth, death, suffering, cold, hot. Suffering in this material world is due to contact with material nature. Material body gives us hot, cold, disease, mosquito bite, so many suffering. We should not take another body. Therefore, we should act to not get another material body. Stop incarnation. This is intelligence. Intelligence is live this life with the mind that this should be the last one. Don't come back. Stopping the cycle. How to stop the cycle? This is Bhagavad Gita. Many verses there. This is a good one. Coming in 4.9. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not upon leaving the body take his birth in the material world, but attains my eternal goal of origin. Which child of Devaki was Krishna? Number?
8. 8. 8.
Yeah, you should know the details of Krishna's birth. And how did Krishna take birth? How? He entered the mind of Vasudeva, then he entered the mind of Devaki, then appeared there. He didn't take birth like we do. And he came with 4 hands. Now, the point is, he took birth in a transcendental way. So Krishna is saying, you should understand my transcendental appearance and activities. If you know that, you will not take birth again. So now, but where is this in Gita? Krishna's birth? Which chapter? Which verse? 5:11. It's not there. Where is it? Huh? It's in Bhagavatam. What is this telling us? We have to read Bhagavatam. We have to read Bhagavad Gita. And we have to go to Srimad Bhagavatam. We have to know God. We have to know Krishna. By knowing God, we will not take birth again. Srimad Bhagavatam is basically Bhagavad Gita, but in an expanded way. But we have to read. Even Gita is giving the hint. Bhagavad Gita is good. We read it. But we have to come to Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. Hare Krishna. Yeah, question.
You said we should read Bhagavatam.
Yes.
When Krishna's pastimes comes in the 10th chapter. So, in that case, if you want to know more about Krishna, you read all of them, or you just read the Krishna book. What do you do?
No, you have to read the whole Bhagavatam because you will not understand Krishna book properly. You will understand some level. But to really understand Krishna's form, Guna, Rup, Ram, Leela, you have to start from 1 and understand the science of transcendence. What is spirituality? What is the concept of God? What is the concept of religion? And then when we understand, otherwise people like to hear Leela of Krishna. But they think like some normal boy and girl playing. We have to understand that spiritual nature. For that we have to study Gita, then go to Bhagavatam 1, 2, 3, 4 till 9. When we are prepared, then we'll be able to actually see Krishna intent. Otherwise it's like...
So, you don't need to read the Krishna book.
Prabhupada said why he did Krishna book first. He said 2 reasons. One is, he's not sure if he would have translated the whole Bhagavatam. Second, he said that sometime before eating, we eat desserts first. And eat the sweet first. So he wanted to give a glimpse. But then again, to understand it, we have to go through the whole thing fully.
So, Prabhu, I want read, unfortunately, the whole Bhagavad Gita as yet. So,
Still
can
there's
I,
time. A lot of-
you gave me the Bhagavad set, the full set.
Yeah.
So when I start reading the Bhagavad set from first canto without reading Bhagavad Gita or no?
It's advisable to read Gita.
First,
Yeah, because you'll get much more benefit from Bhagavatam. But do read Bhagavatam, all of you connected to ISKCON, especially some of you taken Diksha, are going to take Diksha.
You need to finish Bhagavatam.
Well, at least start it. No, not finish. 1, 2 cantos at least.
So you read only Prabhupada's teachings or his books, or his wide variety of books you read?
You see, we come in Gaudiya Sampradaya, so we have taken shelter of Srila Prabhupada as our Acharya, because to understand the Vedas and to practice, we have to accept an Acharya. We cannot approach Vedas ourselves. He will interpret and give us darshan how to see the Vedas. Some take shelter of Ramanuja, Vishnu Swami, Nimbark. We took shelter of Prabhupada. And so we read Prabhupada's books only and properly understand his vision. Then, with permission of our spiritual authority, we may read other books for understanding wider, but we have to have our foundation, and then we don't need Prabhupada's books. That's it.
Basically, Prabhupada books first.
Yes. And that will be the main always. And to read another one, we ask spiritual authority.
Prabhu, I'm always so curious to know more about Garud Puran and this Puran. Where do we get those?
Actually, all over the internet, but as we advise, better to read these
Padma
things.
Puran and
Yeah, they're all there. They're on the internet. But what's the benefit? We have to read to evoke bhakti and to come to a level of self-realization. This is most important. Vedas contain a lot of information: how to build a house, how to build viman. It's not there also on the internet. Vaimanik Shastra, how to build flying sources.
That's authentic. The internet is authentic.
Yeah, not all authentic. Vaimanik Shastra is taken as it is authentic, but they can't understand it. That's the thing. So a lot of knowledge is in the Vedas, but we are on the Bhagavad Path. Bhagavad Path means that path which leads to liberation, understanding God, our relation to Him, and how to act in that relation, bhakti. This is most important. What is the point? We read so much knowledge, but at death we couldn't remember Krishna and take bhakti.
But if we are the ardent devotee of Lord Krishna, we chanting every day 16
Yeah.
rounds or more,
Mm.
and we do all the sevas, everything, right? So after our death, do we go straight to Vaikuntha or we have to go through that, that
Okay,
vicious
if you want,
cycle?
yeah, you want to know the path. What will happen is that when Krishna,
When we die, what exactly happens?
okay, what happens is that if we reach spiritual perfection, when Krishna next comes to do his lila, we will enter that lila and finish our last traces of contamination. Then after that, when Krishna goes back, we go with him. This is the path. Okay.
And then we never take birth again, right?
Yat gatva nanivartante tadham. Krishna says, one who goes doesn't come back again. He says many times in Gita. He repeats this.
Usually the Vaishnavas, they always die with the desire that they want to get reincarnated as Vaishnava again, that
Yeah, there's the devotees say, okay, we want to come back and spread the mission.
yeah.
We may do that. But Prabhupada once said in a Vyas Puja, glorification, someone, Prabhupada, I want to come again and serve you again. And Prabhupada said, no, just go back to God. It will get very bad in Kali Yuga. Don't come back. Any other question? We can end here. What's it, Richard?
I'm a bit confused. I think yesterday you mentioned the fact that we all came from.
We fell from Vaikuntha, from the spiritual world, yes.
And it was my understanding that there's not a trace of descent or whatever.
There's no descent, no ego. So how do you know that? Yeah, this is due to misuse of free will. We all have free will. We have free will. We have to have free will because Krishna is there and I'm thinking how I'll serve Krishna, and now I'll go home and cook something and give it to Krishna. I'll help, tie up Krishna's cow. We should have free will. And so we misuse the free will to think, let me try to enjoy, or it could be curiosity, Prabhupada said. Either curiosity or turning away from Krishna's service.
Not volunteer.
Yeah, voluntarily leaving. We made a mistake. It's misuse of free will. We have the free will. If we're saying, okay, you're a robot, you must serve me, don't go. But love is not like that. Love is that you have the option to serve me and how to serve me. If you take away free will, how can you serve Krishna? So someone has free will, he chose to come here.
Because I don't, I'm still learning, and I'm looking at everyone here. Are we not participating in the Krishna's pastime?
No, because Krishna pastime is free from guna, Rajagun, Tamagun. And right now, I don't think we are free from that.
But we are living within his.
No. The Leela of Krishna is not here. It's in Goloka, in the spiritual world. He follows certain times of day, different pastimes. In the afternoon, he'll go to Radhakund. At night, Ras, different Leelas, pastimes happen. That is the Leela. This is not. We are trying to come there. We are trying to get purified.
This is Krishna's external energy.
It is, but for one who's a devotee, he's not an external energy, but we are trying to become pure. Okay, one more question, then we'll end it. One of you want to, or shall we end it?
Gopis, they are descendant from Gokula, Golok, or they are in the metal world in the.
If you read 10th canto Bhagavatam, there were some 16,000 gopis. They were all in different categories. Some were eternal, some were incarnation of Upanishads, some were going to be purified, they were not fully pure, so they entered the Leela of Krishna and became purified in that. So they are different categories. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Tomorrow